You're watching the ACC on ESPN, and today from Charlottesville, Virginia, we've got a rematch of last year's epic semifinal win by the Notre Dame Fighting Irish on their way to the national title. Yes, the #1 Notre Dame Fighting Irish are in town. Coach Corrigan, head coach Tiffany showing his prowess with the old school stick. Virginia Cavaliers and Fighting Irish with Bergmaster and the bagpipes bringing us in. Man, it's always fun when these two teams get together. Expecting a huge crowd today here at Klockner. But these two teams, when you think about it, yeah, they're 1 and 5 in the country respectively, but they're playing for kind of different things right now, aren't they?
Look, Notre Dame's the best team in the country right now. They're going to moonwalk their way into the NCAA tournament in May. For Virginia, they're in a weird spot, Cotter. I think they need to find another win between now and then the ACC tournament so they're not on the road in the NCAA tournament and potentially, I say potentially, a bubble team.
Yeah, that might, something's happening in the Ivy and the Big East might cause that to happen, but a win today puts that to rest. And when they need a win, they turn to one of the greats of all time here in Virginia.
You could tell he's playing with a sense of urgency. His senior year, he knows the end is near. Last week against Syracuse was the best game I've seen him play in a couple of years. He was amazing with the 9 points, dissecting the defense with crazy passes, but the versatility of his dodges from up top, hammering the ball. But he's a true quarterback behind the cage. He makes it rain, and he loves getting teammates involved. He's breaking almost every single Virginia career point record, assists, you name it. But the attack of Notre Dame, they pack a massive punch. And the creativity of the Kavanaughs with Jake Taylor. It's like 3 guys playing in the backyard, Cotter, and having the time of their lives. Chris Kavanaugh on the right side, he can get to the rack, but the flair for the dramatic between Jake Taylor and Pat Kavanaugh behind as he conducts the offense, it is a unit to watch.
The Irish #1 in the country, defending national champs, Coach Corrigan, bringing his team in, and it's a Notre Dame team that, despite the success in the postseason, haven't enjoyed a lot of success in the regular season against Virginia.
They haven't beaten Virginia in the regular season since 2018.
Lars Tiffany knows that it's about a lot more than winning in the regular season. It's about winning throughout the month of May. But as we said in the open, he knows Virginia's got to get one more big win. Today could be that day to lock up a spot in the NCAA tournament.
They rarely lose 2 in a row. Duke got him, Syracuse got him in the Dome last week.
And we are underway. They haven't lost 3 in a row in 10 years, looking to avoid that fate today. In front of a huge crowd here at Klockner. Loose ball picked up by the freshman Light. And Notre Dame will get the first possession of the day. Notre Dame in their navy blue roads. Virginia in the orange and white home uniforms. You can see the crowd on the far side on the grassy knoll here at Klockner. They're already packing it, and still plenty of fans coming through the turnstiles. We are going to have a huge crowd here today.
One of the great places in all of college lacrosse. In late April, Charlottesville is always popping when it comes to lacrosse.
And these fans know what is at stake. And the Irish fans, they travel really well as well. They are the #1 team in the country. Dobson now down the alley through his right hand. Here's Pat Kavanaugh. 50 in blue along with his brother. Here 51 is Pat, 50 is Chris. Still plenty of time to shoot for the Irish. Face on, the freshman. Got his left hand free and shoots. Switched it over to the right. Making the save was Matthew Nunes. That's a big save for Nunes.
Massive. The last 2 weeks he struggled in the first quarter. 0 saves against Syracuse and Duke. He was pulled against Duke. For him to get that confidence early is critical.
Gonna get a chance here, and the Irish score. Devin McClain was the one who buried it. And all the superstars we talk about with Notre Dame, whether it's the Kavanaughs, whether it's Jake Taylor, whether it's Dobson and the freshman face-on, McClain's having a monster season, the transfer from Brown.
He is. He was the man at Brown in terms of running that offense and scored close to 50 goals 2 seasons ago. He comes as a grad transfer, and he's a bit of a chameleon. Could play extra man. You put him behind the cage. He's accustomed to making plays back there, but he's so smart off the ball. I think when you have Devin McClain combined with Jake Taylor, they occupy so much of the inside, Cotter. It lets everyone on the perimeter to make plays.
There you see Matt Nunes. He's had a little bit of a rough spot lately, and look at his numbers. First quarter, we were at the Duke game a couple of weeks ago, didn't make a single save in that first quarter.
It was the same case a week ago against Syracuse in the Dome, but Lars Tiffany stuck with him, and he played fantastic in the second half with 12 saves and kept that team in a position to win on the road.
Anthony Gobriel gets the better of Will Lynch on that face-off, so the first time this afternoon, Virginia 6v6.
You'll see Schellenberger behind the cage. That's Sean Light. That's a true freshman on the KG vet, Connor Schellenberger. You talk about the matchup of a lifetime for Light.
Inside the feed, Entman makes the save. We introduced you to Matt Nunes. Well, that man, number 44 in blue, needs no introduction, Liam Entman.
Championship weekend MVP when Notre Dame won their first national title a season ago. Big game Liam, never flinches when the lights are bright.
Harris, full head of steam, the bounce shot as he gets leveled, but it's picked up by Nunes.
Nunes loves to get it out quickly, especially against this Notre Dame ride. They are relentless, the Kavanaughs and Jake Taylor. So when he makes a save, Matthew Nunes, he's thinking upfield, get it out, don't let them ride.
Got it out early, but a couple of players shaking up on the play. Harris was able to get up under his own power. Griffin Kaloji still down for Virginia as the staff attends to him right in front of the crease.
Griffin Kaloji's older brother, Kyle Kaloji, was a national champion at the University of Virginia a couple seasons ago. He's been a glue guy defensively. Not a starter, but they've put him on man down, and he gets serious minutes. He's an experienced player for Lars Tiffany.
You saw Lars with the other polls discussing defensive strategy. Kaloji sitting up under his own power, so that's good to see. Let's take another look at this collision right in front of the net as Harris went airborne here.
Oh yeah, that's one of those hits, man. When there's no give after the hit, those are typically
shoulder to shoulder.
The impact of those type of hits.
Kaloji will be able to walk off under his own power.
When one guy flies from a hit, typically you don't feel like there's that shoulder injury, right? Because there's the give. When you have two Mack trucks hitting each other,
and they're absorbing the hit.
Yes.
Lars coming out, pat on the back to Kaloji. We'll keep an eye on Kaloji to see if he can come back into the game now. It's clear for Virginia. Both of these teams are relentless on the ride, so the middle of the field and clearing attempts is going to be a very important part of this game.
Yeah, but one of Virginia's strengths is clearing the ball. Number 2 in the nation in terms of clearing at 93%. They need that type of success today against a Notre Dame relentless ride.
Here's McCabe Millen, one of the top freshmen in the country, 9 in white. Got to step on his defense. He shoots and scores! Clark, we opened up the season with the Virginia-Michigan game, and everybody in the world was introduced to McCabe Millen. Might have had a little bit of a dip in production hitting that freshman wall, but he needs that goal. That was big for Virginia.
And when you watch him from a dodging perspective, he's always at his best when he is straight line speed, right off a quick little move, and then it's a straight line gasser. That Michigan game, when you watched him dodge, he had dodges that went 20, 30 yards because he's so fast. If he could start his dodge in space, one quick move, and then it's a beeline, straight line dodge, he's so fast. I think he's run into a little trouble sometimes this season when he's overcomplicated his dodges, right? Multiple moves into a move. The speed is legit. He needs to stick to that.
And a great finish, too. A little twist to the far pipe.
It's almost like a wide receiver on a fly pattern, right? Like, make the defense match your speed for a long period of time.
They'll have to respect it as a face-off violation. Gets it to the Cavaliers, all knotted up at one apiece here in the early going. Griffin shuts on Donovan. Trying to get a pick. Donovan slides through it. Here's McCabe. Check that. That's Cormier. Ball loose in front. Still loose. Picked up by the Irish. They're going to look to go quickly again. Harris is going to wait for the cavalry to come if he can keep his footing. It did rain a little bit this morning here in Charlottesville, but it's turned into a nice afternoon.
I mean, the track looks great, doesn't it, for this time of year?
It really does. It gets a lot of play when you think about the men's and women's teams playing on this field. It really looks good. Just in time for postseason lacrosse. Busenkill in front, beautiful pass, and finished off by Chris Cavanaugh.
Goal scored by Chris Cavanaugh, the one-timer. Number 23.
This is a spectacular backside feed by Busenkill. Chris Cavanaugh is porched up on that bottom corner. But you look at how he threads this pass through the white shirts and the Virginia defense. And Cavanaugh's so smart. You see how he just one-times it? He knows that he's got to get that off because Matt Nunes is going from one pipe to another. If he catches and fakes, he actually could get caught by Nunes making a ridiculous stop. But he knows the real estate that Nunes has to cover from one pipe to another. That's quick stick time.
Hustle by Lynch. Ends up being picked up by the Irish. It's not to undersell the fact that Will Lynch is back playing in this game. Face-off man for Notre Dame. Missed last week with an upper body injury. Now he's back. Shot way too high. It'll stay with Notre Dame.
These guys are slipping quite a bit.
Yeah, they are in that area of the field.
Here's a matchup. Cole Kastner has been very successful against Pat Cavanaugh over the years. They're both seniors. They've seen each other so many times. Kastner has never really allowed Pat Cavanaugh, 51 in blue, to operate in space. Kastner's 6'7", Cotter. He just swallows him up.
That's an interesting thing about this Virginia defense. 6'7", 6'5", 6'6" along that back line. So much length. Cavanaugh, no angle, takes it behind the cage. Tried to get it to Taylor in front. Tiffany wanted a hold, didn't get it. So it's tracked down by Dobson. He wants to go to his left. He's got a hammer from that side. Face on, looking to dodge. Got to the middle of the field. Now we'll get a call.
You got a moving pick there, possibly on Dobson, 8 in blue.
Here's to your point. Virginia wants to go quickly, and it's Kastner. Kastner can run for a tall guy. Each one of his strides is like 5 yards
long. The
long.
announcement this week, he's using his 5th year of NCAA sports eligibility to play basketball at Stanford. Tells you the type of athlete he is.
That's where he's from, the Bay Area. He's a great high school basketball player there. Skip pass in front, Corey can't handle it. No over and back, but you get an offside. It's going to go against Virginia.
I thought that the fans don't like it. I thought it was a push.
Not called. Let's see if Notre Dame wants to go quickly.
It was a push, but I think it was the over and back.
Before the push.
Before the push, potentially.
2 turnovers for Virginia against just 1 for the Irish so far. 2-1 Notre Dame on top. Very evenly played game here in this first quarter. Angrick, the feed. Little half question mark from Chris Cavanaugh, but it's backed up by Virginia.
I thought if Chris shot that more over the top, you know, he was in the air, so he lost his core and his base. So you got to stick to your fundamentals there. To shoot sidearm while you don't have your feet is a really tough shot.
Griffin shuts. Tough clear. Now he can take a shot. Instead he dishes it off. That looked like it hit the pipe near side. Straight up in the air. And a big battle for the loose ball is going to be won by Virginia. They may have an opportunity here. Powerful shot by Schutz goes wide.
You know, when you watch Entenmann in cage, it's amazing. Like, he'll do a half split and then he'll chicken wing a save. Like, he's unbelievable at adjusting after he's committed with his body.
662 career saves for Entenmann.
Oh, that is just an insane amount of rubber.
Here's Schutz. Trying to come upfield. Extra pass. Schellenberger gets to the middle, shoots, scores!
The local boy doesn't want this to be the last time he dances at Klockner. You see the emotion after he hits it, Cotter. He's been spraying from all over the offensive sets the last 2 weeks. Schellenberger, once again. Legendary ACC faceoff, guys. He was over 50% in both of those games.
Today going against Anthony Cobriel. And a little quick on the whistle this time around.
What I like about Lynch, he's a new age faceoff guy. Played a ton of regular midfield in high school. He's able to play off the ground, handles the ball.
Oh, McCabe didn't even see it coming his way. Now McCabe Millen gives it away. Wasn't even looking for it. It's a little bit of a mental error for the freshman. And Harris will run to daylight in clearing it for the Irish. Over to McLean. To Faison.
You know what's interesting? Faison has had the attention of the long stick the last few weeks. Dobson the shorty. Now it's a flip. Ware 44, the long pole on 8 Dobson. Faison getting the short stick. There'll be a heavy dose of dodging from 14 in blue right here. Watch the feet of this guy.
Chase Yeager is on him. Faison just got a step. Yeager that time dislodging the ball. Chris Cavanaugh will track it down. Still 20 seconds to shoot for the Irish.
Nice check by Yeager. 17 calls turnovers heading into today's contest. That's a lot for a shorty.
Faison got free though, hit the pipe, might have hit both of them. Yeager tracks it down, now he's in a little bit of trouble. This is what Notre Dame does to you. Nunes also in trouble. The Cavanaughs relentless in their attack. McLean tries to get it in front. Great action. You got to tip your cap to Virginia to come back and prevent that from being a goal, because that's what Notre Dame does week in and week out.
They will attack you. It's the subtle things, though. As they were going through the ground ball, did you see how Pat Cavanaugh pushed Matthew Nunes off his line?
And then scores. That's a goal card, a direct result of the relentless ride that this Notre Dame offense does to you when you get possession deep in your own end.
The play is never over. For every single young attackman that plays the game, you go after the defense. You go after the goalie recklessly to get these second opportunities. And how fitting, the guy who was orchestrating that ride was the one who scored, Pat Cavanaugh. A beautiful little pause hesitation. He's been doing that move quite a bit. He did that against Kenny Brower and Duke a couple weeks ago. He gets the guy up at the wing and he pauses, and he gets the defender thinking that he's going to roll back or possibly rocker, and it's a really tough play for defense to put the stick in front or behind, and then he uses his instincts. So smart. 2 more points and Pat Cavanaugh becomes the all-time leading point scorer in Notre Dame lacrosse history. Randy Colley, class of 1995. Pat Cavanaugh's coming for you.
Gobria with the face-off violation. I think both teams now have 2 in this half already, so that's something to keep an eye on. Next one will be a 32nd man down for the next violation. Third midfield on the field for the Irish now. Walker, Seymour, Bayman. That's Fisher Finley, number 6 on the field as well, but they turn it over.
You better wear your arm pads when you're playing against the Cavanaughs too. They are going to hack you up.
And you know that Jake Taylor's learned a thing or two about it, playing with them.
Yep, they have that hockey mentality. I know you had a conversation with Chris, right? His love for the Rangers.
They love both. You know, I learned about that with Matt Cavanaugh and his love for the Rangers when he was playing their older brother here at Notre Dame. And apparently both Chris and Pat both love the blue shirts just as much. It's a family thing for them, growing up on Long Island. Millen with the question mark over the top. Race for the ball in the end line. It's going to be won by Virginia, so the Cavs retain.
That's a money move. by McCabe Millen, 9 and wide. I think if he takes one more step, he's going to can that.
Timeout Notre Dame on defense with the dead ball. 3-2 is the advantage for the Irish. 4:29 left to go in this first quarter. I'm already halfway
it's an
through
outside
that motion.
rip twister.
Might as well just let it go.
We'll get it to you later.
About 15 yards out. Buried it. Schutz. Schutz just runs like a running back, doesn't he?
He does. It seems like Notre Dame's slipping a lot more than Virginia in this game so far.
Light runs through the Schutz pick. Schellenberger on the shorty. This is big time advantage. Virginia skips to the far side. Cormier just too high. You don't see that very often.
What a beautiful pass, though. He lures the defense to one spot, overcompensates, finds the backside.
That time, got it to Schutz, and he just shovels it wide, but Schellenberger's right there. That's actually a really smart play with the shot clock winding down to just dump it in the corner.
Yeah, if you're looking at that, you're saying, why is McCabe Millen doing that? Well, the shot clock is about to hit 0, set up the ride. One thing to notice, too, Cotter, watch when Connor Schellenberger passes the ball, how quick and snappy his release is.
Yeah.
So a defense doesn't have that extra beat. A lot of guys, it's cradle and then pass. It's right off his ear. It's so snappy.
Let's not undersell the ride for Virginia. Talk about it with Notre Dame a lot. Virginia's got a heck of a ride, constantly, always towards the top, or not, if not the top team, and cause turnovers and ground balls every year, and that's a big reason why. Ball pinballs in front, picked up by the Irish. Will Corey couldn't get it through. Face on. Now the help comes for Virginia. Notre Dame's going to have to call a timeout, and Corrigan gets it. Knew his player was in trouble.
It's a great timeout.
Ben Ramsey couldn't get rid of it, so Corrigan calls the TO.
Off of momentum, it's not something he planned out or wanted to showboat. His backhands are the same thing when he goes BTB.
Right, he said one of the toughest phone calls he ever had to make was to Coach Brown, who had known him since he was a kid, to tell him he was going to Notre Dame, and he wasn't going to matriculate at Denver. It's worked out pretty well for Jake Taylor, that is for sure. Face on. Got him inside. Now he gets mugged right at the crease. And they're going to call him in the crease. So great defense by this Virginia Cavalier club.
Yeah, that's a good double. Sandwiching Jordan Faison, who I think should be operating more in space than closer to the cage right there.
Faison delivering the hit to Will Corey, but Corey does well to keep possession. Here's Mankey coming out of the box. Mankey, one of so many players from the Dallas area, now playing big-time Division I college lacrosse. Got to step on his defender, too, and scores! That's a juice goal for this Virginia team. Just his 5th of the year. But his teammates appreciate the effort.
It's a juice goal, and it's much needed from a midfield that needs to make their presence felt from a scoring perspective. And Thomas Mankey was an attackman his whole life. So he's so comfortable operating from behind the cage on a short stick. There's no slide. He knows that if he takes another 2 steps, he's running more into the heart of this Notre Dame defense. In a beautiful low-angle shot by Thomas Mankey. First, it's the defense. Yeager stands up, face on, and the double by Kastner is timed perfectly.
Colin Hagstrom taking the draw for Notre Dame. Gobriel's able to win it, though. Back to Nunes. Boyd is able to get it in a great spot. As Colesy comes on for Virginia. And then Griffin Schutz will round out the substitution pattern.
You know, Schutz has been the mainstay on the offensive midfield. It's an easy stop by Entenmann. Schellenberger didn't move him at all. So the Mankey goal is huge.
Another player losing his footing, and now they're in trouble. Intiman gets out of it initially. Chris Kavanaugh's on that side of the field.
See another slip? Like, we've seen a lot of slips from Notre Dame. Not so much on the Virginia front, and obviously this is their home grass, and they know
they've got the longer spikes.
Yeah, this field more than anyone, but I've seen a lot.
You also had maybe a little bit more rain than Notre Dame might have thought on this field this morning when they got into town yesterday. Maybe they didn't think it was going to get that kind of moisture as far as their footwear goes. Busenkill again behind the cage. Irish moving it quickly. Shot off the pipe from Gray. No over and back because it hit the pipe.
Yep.
So Light gets it back to the offensive end. This will be an extended possession. Now the officials blow it as they want to make sure that that shot clock was reset because it did hit the cage, so it should reset to 60. Or it resets to 80. New possession. Is that what they're going to say?
Yep.
Yeah.
It should be 80.
Yeah, new possession.
If it goes over the midline off of a shot, it's a reset at 80, not 60.
Good call on that, Clark, with 20 seconds left to go in this first quarter. Coach Corrigan and his staff just wanted to make sure we got that taken care of. Chris Wojcik is offensive coordinator. Ryder Garnsey by that substitution box as well. One heck of a staff. Wojcik, Wellner, Garnsey. Look at Gray here, right to the defense. Bounce shot goes wide.
Saw some speed out of Gray there. I like that take too because he gave his team plenty of time to operate here in the closing seconds.
To Busenkill on the shorty. Try to get it in front. To Chris. Couldn't get a great shot off. Now the length of the field. That could have been an opportunity. Unfortunately for Virginia, Cormier couldn't quite handle it, and the horn sounds to end a very entertaining first quarter of lacrosse here in Charlottesville. The #1 team in the country, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, taking on a Virginia team, trying to break a modest 2-game losing streak here at home in front of a huge crowd. We got 3 quarters of great lacrosse still to go. Don't go anywhere, folks. You're not going to want to miss this one. Virginia team that needs to get in. It's a Carolina team that they're not even on the bubble yet, but 2 wins in that ACC tournament.
That changes everything. I'll say this, Cotter. The level of play in the ACC off the charts. The tournament, it's a good idea. I don't love the timing of the tournament. I think it should mirror the women's tournament, which is this weekend, so the teams get a week off before the NCAA tournament, because the fear is if you play in the ACC tournament and you play in 2 games, Friday and Sunday of next week, and then you're staring at the NCAA tournament that following Saturday on 5-6 days rest, and you got travel and all that, that's a lot on the body.
Yep. Good news is you're probably at home. All 3 or 4, maybe even 5 teams from the ACC getting in. It's possible now with Carolina's win, and I say that because you think about Carolina, if they end this season with wins against Duke, Syracuse, and Notre Dame, will say that those are 3 games. I'll put those 3 wins up against anybody, and Cormier wants to make sure Virginia gets the dub today.
We talk about deception. We highlighted Jake Taylor's ridiculous twister in the semifinals against Virginia a year ago. Watch the head of the stick of Peyton Cormier. That is ridiculous. He throws Liam Intiman for a doozy. Do you see the head of that stick? How do you track that stick? How do you track that ball? The simple answer is you don't.
16 straight games with a G for Cormier.
And it looks easy because it's so fast, but Cotter, to bring the stick across your body and then go against the grain when you shoot, it is a nightmare for a goalie. No goalie's making that stop.
Tyler Buckner with a nice job on that ground ball to get it to Lynch. Buckner, the former Alabama quarterback. Now getting some time on the face-off wings for this Notre Dame team.
And that's a smart move when you have 2 guys in the middle. That's a smart move when you have 2 guys in the middle. And that's a smart move when you have 2 guys in the middle. And that's a smart move when you have 2 guys in the middle. And that's a smart move when you have 2 guys in the middle. And that's a smart move when you have 2 guys in the middle. And that's a smart move when you have 2 guys in the middle. And that's a smart move when you have 2 guys in the middle. And that's a smart move when you have 2 guys in the middle. And that's a smart move when you have 2 guys in the middle. And that's a smart move when you have 2 guys in the middle. And that's a smart move when you have 2 guys in the middle. And that's a smart move when you have 2 guys in the middle. And that's a smart move when you have 2 guys in the middle. And that's a smart move when you have 2 guys in the middle. And that's a smart move when you have 2 guys in the middle. And that's a smart move when you have 2 guys in the middle. And that's a smart going to May to use those bodies. You got a great athlete. You put him on the wing. You give him a simple job right now. You've been away from the game for a while. Get the ground balls off the wing. And then it saves guys like Ben Ramsey a rep, right? You need him at short stick D-midi. So that is a smart move, adding depth at this time of the year by Kevin Corrigan.
Chris Cavanaugh. Up to Dobson. Here's Pat.
That's really good defense, really good defense. See how he's kind of swallowing him up right there?
Still on him.
He's not letting Cavanaugh operate in space.
Now Chris gets his left hand free, forces the save from Nunes, and he makes it. Now bodies colliding in front. We're gonna get a late flag. That looked like, well, it's gonna be a delayed call against Virginia.
I think it's gonna be on Prestopino there.
Yes,
15 and white. And it didn't look intentional.
No, I felt like they got caught up in front, but Prestopino was the one who ended up on top of the Notre Dame player, and 15 is going to have to go to the box.
You'll see some bodies flapping. Got interference, 30-second technical.
Yep, so it'll be against Prestopino.
Here's the bad news if you're a Virginia fan. This Notre Dame extra man unit is absolutely insane.
On record pace.
Yes.
Almost unstoppable. At over 70%.
74%. I always say like 40% is good.
Right, this is 70% it's ridiculous. The ball movement is exquisite.
I'll tell you why in a second. Why this unit is so good.
McLean up top, Cavanaugh. Inside, there it is! And we'll get a flag to boot.
We're going to be replaying this. They're going to call a push, and the goal is good.
They'll wave it off. So Taylor with the goal.
Jake Taylor was part of the reasoning behind this unit being so good, but I was going to say that he's so good inside, occupying the paint, that there's so many more options for this unit to deal. He falls in the goal mouth, and you can fall in the goal mouth if it's from a push by the defense. So he gets this shot off in time. The ball crosses the plane before he lands. So the goal's good from that perspective. Was he pushed?
The call was that Tommy McNeil did push him in the back.
So the goal is good. They changed that rule a year ago, which I like. You can land in the goal mouth if it's from defensive pressure, and I'm fine.
Crowd didn't like it, and now Lars is going to throw the red challenge flag. So we're going to get a review. Although I'm not sure what they're reviewing here, because if the call was a push in the back, that can't be taken off the board.
He could get that goal taken off the board, though, if he feels like Jake Taylor's foot was in the crease
before the push.
Yes, so they can review that.
So that's what they're going to be looking at. We'll give you the lowdown when we come back to Charlottesville. During the break, the officials confirmed that the goal was good. Clark, what are we looking at here?
It's the right call. He lands in the goal mouth, but that's because of the push from the defense. So watch the feet. The ball is released out of his stick prior to a foot in the crease. That second foot, that left foot, lands on the line, right? But the ball crossed the plane already. So the goal is good. That is a good call by the officials when they went to replay.
All knotted at 4. Face-off one, but Donovan was able to get it free, but still with Virginia. Now the Cavs losing their footing a little bit.
Ben Ware is excellent in the middle of the field. 44 and white with that ground ball, the awareness, his stick skills are exceptional.
And
to have him out there.
Colucci took that draw for Virginia too, so both teams using their backup face-off men, knowing that it's going to be a long day for their starters.
Sometimes they keep Ware on to trap another player. Here he's going through the substitution pattern.
He only has 7 goals on the year for a long pole.
Doing him and some other guys in the ACC. Billy Dwan with those goals from Syracuse.
The skill level is just off the charts. Schellenberger on a shorty. Menke scored a goal earlier in the day, number 2 in white.
He's going to hold this matchup. He has a short stick. Ramsey's an exceptional short stick, but Schellenberger does not care who the guy is. If it's a shorty on him, he's going. Notre Dame has to support this matchup.
Ramsey doing a great job, though, and a fantastic job by Will Donovan in the passing lane.
He's really good. 81 in blue. Donovan, the stick skills. I thought he was one of the main reasons in the middle of the field Notre Dame won a national title last year. As a freshman, his play in the middle of the field and picking off passes like that gave this offense, which has so much gas, more opportunities. Second best statistically in the country with over 16 goals a game. Give them their chances.
Riley Gray on Yeager. Shoots. Nunes makes the save.
Here he is again. Here's Ben Ware.
Still going. He's got help coming out of the box if he wants it. And he gets it to an offensive player, Boyden. Millen. Nice job by Conlon, checking him. Back to Boyden. Now Ware's going to check out.
We got Conlon, who's a fifth-year senior, guarding the freshman Millen, and we got a freshman in light guarding the fifth-year Connor Schellenberger.
Shuts. Ball was deflected before it got to the goal. It'll stay with Virginia, 34 to shoot.
Tells you how good these young guys are, right?
Officials want to make sure the clock situation is straightened out.
So as they straighten this out, I was talking earlier. Griffin Schutz, who's on the field right now, 26 in white, he's been the mainstay in terms of creating offense from the midfield. The more that you can get guys trickling in, guys like Menke, guys like Colsey, to beef up this scoring prowess and take pressure off this attack with Schellenberger and Cormier and Millen.
Good look. Shoots! A shovel shot from Boyden. Little Canadian flair from the grad student from Toronto. Wahoo's back on top.
You gotta have Matthew Nunes playing his best lacrosse, playing with confidence, closing the door. I said it earlier, the snappy top hand of Connor Schellenberger as a passer. Defense is always a beat behind Connor, and it gives an opportunity for Bowden on the backside with a ridiculous goal because he catches it. He feels pressure on his top side. Instead of just behind the back, he kind of moves his body upfield with that backhand shovel shot.
And painted a corner with it, Kark. Now Thomas Colucci with his second win in a row at the faceoff dot.
To be an elite passer, you can't telegraph. You have to have some kind of deception, right? If it's cradle and you're showing everyone the patterns, you're in trouble. Schellenberger in stride, full speed. It's just the top hand wrist that makes that pass that allows players to catch it on the backside because the defense can't knock it down. They're a beat behind.
Now McIntosh using a Millen pick. Corey on the far side. Second midfield group on for Virginia. McIntosh, you and I saw him out of a huge game a couple of years ago. This is McCabe Millen. How about that quick shot from Cormier? But Entman up to the task. Walker now for Notre Dame. Gonna look to punt return it. Castor's coming hard. Walker's able to elude him though. Nice play by Walker. Now it's advantage Notre Dame. Can't pick up the loose ball. A big hit in the middle of the field by Yeager. Still Pat Cavanaugh is able to track it down. Sticks are going flying. Listen to this crowd.
Virginia hears it all the time. How do you deal with the Kavanaughs in chaos? Well, guess what, Cotter? The Cavaliers give Notre Dame a dose of some chaos. And it's the long poles, guys like Cole Kastner who roam the middle of the field, almost like a free safety. And John Schroeder, 49, who made that check. You allow your long poles freedom and with their instincts to make plays.
Schuts, goal line extended. Midway through the second quarter. Back to his right, but the help comes beautifully. Napolitano was there to shut the door. Colsey.
Good look. Yep. He had a step. And the dodging, if they get those complementary dodgers to support shots, this midfield becomes really dangerous.
Schellenberger gets a pick. Inside Cormier. Entzman makes the save. High enough, out of bounds. It'll be Virginia's ball. The Irish can't believe it.
Yeah, they thought it was closest to the ball, one of their players, when it went out of bounds. Kevin Corrigan wants an explanation there.
We'll get a very brief one from Abbott. Official nearest to us. Millen.
He wanted a moving pick there.
Now Millen, oh, look at that save by Entzman, down to his knees. And a quick outlet to Donovan. Step down just wide from Parlett.
You know what's so impressive about Entzman? He's a righty goalie. When he makes that low and away, bottom left-hand corner save.
Yes.
It's like from one side of the cage to the other in a big swooping motion.
Q has his daughter Grace practicing that 1,000 times a day now. Drills. All right, here's Kavanaugh. Coming off a pick, can he get under the defender? Can't do it. Kastner's just too rangy. Irish started this game 2 for 4 shooting. They're 2 for 11 since. Kavanaugh gets a pick, the extra step to greatness, but he sends it wide.
I thought Notre Dame set the pick at the perfect time, right? You have the long-rangey Kastner who can close a gap, right? When he gets a step on him. Kavanaugh just was a little bit wide with that shot, but it gave him that space, and putting that pick on the goal line didn't allow Kastner to close ground. If I was Notre Dame, I'd go to a heavier pick game on the goal line like that one, and Kavanaugh eventually will hit it. Because what happens, Cotter, when you set these picks too far in space, Kastner's 6'7", and he's a great athlete.
He can close down that space.
Close it out.
Terenzi, 5 in white. Started the year as a defensive midfielder, but getting more offensive time, and this one deflects off of Entzman, and Cormier gets credit for the goal. Virginia scored 4 of the last 5 goals in this game, Kark, and they take a 2-goal advantage. That's their largest lead of the day.
He's got ice in his veins. Born to score. Canadian box player with a nose for pay dirt. And Cotter, if you watch him over the years, he just soaks checks. That big body, watch this check by Ramsey. I mean, Ramsey is not a small guy. He rips through that wrap check. And look at the numbers. He's at 209. If Virginia goes on a run, Mac O'Keefe's career record in Division I lacrosse is not safe.
He could pass Justin Gutterding today the way he could score in bunches, averaging almost 3.7 goals per game, leading the nation coming in.
And what I like about Cormier is you think about him as an inside guy, right? He's a crease attackman, a finisher. But if you give him the ball off of ball movement, he rips through short sticks. And that's why I think there's a place in the PLL. A traditional crease guy, hard to play in the PLL because they don't slide in the PLL much, and they put the crease attackman on there. And if he's being short stick, and if he can't beat a short stick, his value is not good. Peyton Cormier has value there because if you short stick him, he will rip through a short stick.
There you saw Coach Corrigan. That hat has gotten some work, hasn't it? Sun bleached. How many times he had to pick that thing off the ground? Look at that hat. How many grass?
You know, originally it was navy blue. You realize that, right?
Yes.
It's not a gray hat.
Yeah, that thing will have grass stains in 4 or 5 spots by the end of the day. Throwing that thing on the ground.
What's the over/under? How many times he washed it?
Oh, never. Look at that pass inside. Goes wanting, though, and Donovan picking up another ground ball. He's going to have about
20
of those.
81 blue again.
Here comes the Napolitano. Will he take a shot? He will. Nunes with the save. Do you think the crowd here knows this is a big game for Nunes?
Yes.
They're giving him all the support they can, and he's coming up big. 5th save of the day for Nunes.
And if you really watch his season, he's only had a couple bad quarters. He had a little bit of a rough patch in the second half against Johns Hopkins, and the first quarter against Duke, he was pulled, and then the first quarter last week against Syracuse. Outside of that, he's had an exceptional year.
Millen thought about stepping down. Now he shoots. Look at Entzman going to his knees and then making the save high.
It's crazy. You would think that when you commit low and you actually bring your body low, to have that top hand speed to make that stop.
7th save of the game for Entzman. Irish offense in a little bit of a drought here. Dobson getting it to face on. Looking to use that ability in space. Has it checked away, though, but back with the Irish, and Fulton Bayman is robbed by Nunes.
The confidence of Matthew Nunes. We talked to his goalie coach, Kip Turner, this week. Said goalie's the hardest position in sports.
Waiters in all kinds of trouble. They may get a timeout here. They can't do it, though, because he can't get into the offensive end. And it's going to be a turnover in the middle of the field. Waiter got himself in all kinds of trouble in the middle of the field. Couldn't find any help. Can the Irish take advantage of Pat Cavanaugh? Taylor will slow it down. Face-on now coming on. Dobson will look to sub in as well. Nunes.
He's feeling it. Following up on what I was saying about Kip Turner's goalie coach. Playing this position mentally is brutal. If you make the early stops, your body language changes. You don't start guessing yourself. The challenges of that position and how you start early in games is so critical in terms of how you finish.
The Irish just 2 of 15 shooting in their last 17, or their last 15 shots, I should say. Now here's Mankey. Millen. On Conlon. Mankey, he'll shoot. And Timmy just stabs that one right out of the air.
And you said it best, he stabs it, right? So there's a release point as a goalie you want to track, and then the contact point, getting the ball. You see how he just stabs the ball there? So he follows the release of Mankey, and then it's all about making contact with the ball, whether it's with your stick, and if you're desperate, your body, you find a way.
Chris Cavanaugh on the shot of the 10-man ride, the empty goal goes over the top, and Virginia was backing it up.
Yeah, Prestopino actually had the inside track there.
So a high-risk reward for the Irish. Ends up going back to Virginia now with just over a minute to play. There's a little bit of a difference in shot clock and game clock. So about a 10-second difference. Lars Tiffany calls a timeout, wants to talk things over. 56 seconds to shoot, a minute and 4 left on the clock here in the first half.
Between 10 and 15, and when in doubt, let number 1 figure it out, right?
Always,
good things
you can
will
default to 1 and white.
It's like another coach on the field. Talk to their coaches. He treats the sport of lacrosse, Connor Schellenberger, like it's a class, like it's his major.
Kip Turner said like it's the hardest class he takes at Virginia.
Takes the
lacrosse.
notes, Always has a pencil and a pad when he comes to watch film, and that's contagious for the rest of the guys. If you're a fresh
young guys.
Yeah, if you're McCabe Millen and you see Connor Schellenberger, leading point scorer in UVA history, the way that he's acting, that's the way you're going to act.
20 to shoot. Millen. Players collide.
They called a pick on Schellenberger, moving pick.
It's going to be a turnover. So now all of a sudden you got 25 for Notre Dame. They're going to want to move it quickly into the offensive end. 10 turnovers for Virginia. And they got offensive players caught on the defense, but of course Nunes makes the save.
They got something
Still
here.
have time, Schellenberger. Oh, that was almost a brilliant pass. I mean, if Cormier could have made
it hit his stick.
If he'd have caught it, he could have had a great opportunity to shoot point blank on Entenmann. Just couldn't quite squeeze it. Virginia winning the battle at the face-off dot in that first half, and it's been mostly Gabriel and Lynch, and that's how we start the second. Weyer comes out of there with the GB, and here come the Cavaliers. And they get a great start to the second half, and it's the goal scorer, Peyton Cormier. Weyer got that thing started with the ground ball and running into space and getting the offense going, didn't he, Clark?
Yes, he did, my friend. Ben Ware in the middle of the field is just what the doctor ordered for Lars Tiffany in 2024, because his ability to scoop up ground balls, he can stay on an offense, trigger transition, but also make the right play at the right time. He wasn't selfish here. I thought at first maybe he was going to try to score and go down the heart of the defense. He gets the hockey assist to Terenzi, and then look at the low location. I think Entenmann knows Cormier is a shooter. Sometimes when he has that stick low, he likes to sling it high, and that's the deception. That is the versatility of that release point by Peyton Cormier to go high or low.
And the worn area in front of the net can play tricks on you when you get a bouncer in there. Nice catch by Entenmann after Lynch was able to win that draw. 3-goal lead for Virginia, the most they've had on the day, the most any team of these two has enjoyed on the afternoon. Sun trying to peek its way through the clouds here in Charlottesville. Massive crowd. I don't know about you, Clark. I've done a bunch of games at this stadium. I can't remember this many people being here with the berm across the way and in both end zones filled with fans.
It's incredible. This is why you play college lacrosse, as a young player to dream for moments like this. Packed crowds, late in April, big stakes, primetime players.
All-time greats for both of these two teams. Chris shoots. Dude's got a piece of it.
I'm really impressed with this Virginia defense, because last week they were fleeced.
Yeah.
18 goals off the ball, killed in the pick game. They've been rock solid against the second-best statistical offense in the country.
Nunes didn't get a piece of it, so the shot clock did not reset. It was deflected before it got to him. So now inside of 10 for Pat Cavanaugh. Now to Chris. Gonna have to let it fly. Didn't get it off. Shot clock violation. Standing O from the crowd here at Klockner. The defensive performance continues. As you said, Clark, they gave up 18 at Syracuse last week and 18 at Duke the week before. And this team is playing nothing like the defense we saw in the last 2 weeks.
Lars Tiffany had their attention in film study this week. Trust me, because this doesn't look remotely like the same unit.
And back in front of the home folks. Look at the attention that Cormier is getting, and he puts it on the carpet.
Guess who? Will Donovan once again.
Comes out of there with it too.
81 in Navy with a fantastic check on the double team on Peyton Cormier.
Ramsey still on the field for the Irish. He'll give way to Angrick and he'll check out. Busenkill coming aboard as well. Second midfield unit. Riley Gray, 17 in blue, looking to check in. Kavanaugh. It's been a great matchup all game long. Kavanaugh and Kastner. Now Chris gets free, but we'll get a moving pick. That goal won't count. It's a turnover. And a great outlet pass from Nunes.
He does.
You're good.
Rendering that vaunted Notre Dame ride irrelevant.
You get it out quick enough. That's the counter. If you let the ball marinate on your defensive end, the fangs of the Kavanaughs come out.
Moving.
Get another moving pick on the other side. Consecutive pick violations. Get it back to Notre Dame. Here comes Angrick. He loses it temporarily, gets it back, and then gets dumped. Kastner is able to pick up the GB. Trouble here, watch out for Chris Kavanaugh. Nice play that time by Schroeder to avoid the contact.
We know about Cole Kastner, 39 and white, who's going to do his 5th year of athletic eligibility at Stanford as a basketball player. We know how he can cover, right? We know what he does to blanket the opposition's top players, but what he does in unscripted spots defensively, helping out when teams are trying to clear. He plays a free safety type role, and Lars Tiffany gives him the green light to make those type of plays. He puts it on Cole Kastner.
White slips and falls. Now Schellenberger has Bergmaster on him. Will Corey gets it back to Connor Schellenberger. Boyden. Shuts. Puts a shoulder to the defender. Entman makes the save. Boy, it is not, hasn't been, and it is not going to be easy to solve these goalies today. Kavanaugh scores! Beautiful feed from, I believe that was Carter Parlett. D-Mitty. Notre Dame missed their last 9 shots before that one, and when you're going to put it on the tape, ostensibly of number 51 right in front of the goal, that's an easy way to break that scoreless drought.
Well, Liam Entman was staring down a Griffin Schutz 90-mile-an-hour gasser. He makes the stop, and Parlett with a pass to Pat Kavanaugh, who in the 6-on-6 set has been limited by Cole Kastner. But when you're a great lacrosse player, you find ways to make plays. And that's where he's always operated brilliantly. In the gray, in transition. So if you're gonna stop him in the 6-on-6, he'll get you on a fast break.
Good GB, just gobbled up by Tommy McNeil. Dangerous pass that time, but he got it to Millen. Now back to Connor Schellenberger. Here's Corey coming out of the box. McIntosh and Menke will join in that second midfield unit. Corey left alone here. Check that. I thought he had the ball. I got tricked by it. Menke with it now.
I think Enneman did for just a
for at least for a second.
Yeah.
So I don't feel so bad.
Menke likes this look.
Yeah, he scored on it earlier in the game. Gets it back up top to Corey. Schellenberger, he slips too. Now slide comes, but he's got the shorty on him. Now his defender slides, beautiful pass, and he can't dunk it.
McIntosh had way more time than he thought.
Yes.
I mean, Schellenberger completely drew the eyes in the body commitment of the Notre Dame defense.
McIntosh looking to make up for it, though. Entman's just gobbling that shot up.
That backside, Cotter. He could have caught, located Entman, and thrown a fake. McIntosh has the capability of doing that. We mentioned we had his game last year against Johns Hopkins, 6 for 6 shooting.
That was when Cormier was injured in that game, and boy, did McIntosh take advantage of his opportunity. So you know he can bury it. Faison and Dobson. This dynamic duo, kind of quiet today. It's Dobson here looking to dodge. Down the alley with his left, he shoots, bounces it. Virginia wins the race to the sideline.
Great hustle by Noah Chismar, who's having a really good game.
Couldn't make it work to Yeager, but that was almost brilliant. Instead, here comes Dobson, and Yeager loses his stick. Bouncer too high.
Saw Ramsey with the shot there. Scored the winning goal against Cornell a few weeks back. We know about him as a defender, but he's been lethal in transition, staying on.
Parlett. Oh, it looked like Virginia wasn't giving Parlett any respect at all on that restart. Kavanaugh almost with the turnover. Now it's loose in the middle of the field. Still loose. Someone lost a stick. It was Weyer who did, and Virginia comes out of the pile with it.
Old school grounder by John Schroeder, 49 in white.
Millen got the difficult pass and then took a hit. Cormier trying to keep it in bounds and can't do it. Chaos all over the field.
Virginia better be careful. In the last minute, they've thrown 3 poor passes. And that's where Notre Dame can make you pay, when you aren't clean in the gray areas. That's when that middle of the field chaos for both of these teams really reigns supreme. So if you're Virginia, you have to clear the ball cleanly.
They did it so well in that first half. And that, as Q calls it, helter-skelter, didn't come back to bite them in that sequence. Faison. Looking to operate in space. Chase Yeager on him. Pat in front. McLean couldn't quite quick stick it. Chismar comes out of there with it. He's in trouble. Into the middle of the field. Dangerous play. And oh no, Chris Kavanaugh couldn't bury it in the open net. I thought that was going to be a goal for sure.
This is a note for all defensive players that play the sport of lacrosse. When you are in a tough situation where you're being harassed when you're trying to clear the ball on your end, never throw the ball to the middle of the field. Virginia got lucky there.
Harris with a great check, knocking the stick out of Schutz's hands. So it's a turnover. Here comes Ramsey.
You're in trouble clearing the ball, Connor. Throw it down the other end. Make it a 50-50 ball on your offensive end. When you throw it to the middle of the field, it's not going to be a 50-50 ball. If the other team gets it, it is a prime scoring opportunity.
Lars did not like the procedure call on that last play that got the ball back to Notre Dame. Angrick trying to take advantage of the situation. Behind to Chris Kavanaugh. Looking to find Busenkill cutting, but he wasn't open. Kavanaugh got it on the head. That's going to be an illegal check going against John Schroeder. This will be a delayed call against Virginia. Virginia defender loses stick, gets it back. Busenkill scores.
It's a free play with the slash on Chris Kavanaugh. Notre Dame knows. Put the hands in the magician's stick. Pat Kavanaugh, he'll make something happen. Busenkill sits on that right-hand side knowing Mr. Assister will get him the rock.
They're down a minute and no face-off is essentially what it comes down to.
So the second foul, there's 2:30s, the second foul was after the play. It was a team technical. That's
right.
why no face. Virginia shutting Jake Taylor off, or I'm sorry, Pat Cavanaugh, 51, the trigger man.
Irish 1 for 1, man up today already. Best man up offense in the country by far, 74% coming in. So that's only gone up today already. Dobson with the lefty hammer, Ricciardelli. He and Taylor, the inside guys, 13-0.
I like the play by Lars Tiffany shutting off Pat Cavanaugh, who's the trigger man, the quarterback of this unit. We haven't seen a ton of that this season.
You see Cavanaugh 51 in the middle, 2 defenders on him.
What it does, Cotter, it forces them to think.
Yep. Oh, Ricciardelli scores! Well, you had one from 13, the other inside guy on the power play, so why not get one from 0 now?
When you shut off your trigger man, it always takes a unit 15, 20, 25 seconds to recalibrate and figure things out. It's always easier to score 5 on 4 than 6 on 5. So you shut off Cavanaugh. Now it's 5 of your top players against Virginia's 4, and the backside's always open. Because what happens is you have the defense in a rectangular shape. They can't cover the backside because everyone's shading to the ball side. So that pass from the top corner to the bottom corner, if you can thread it, it's there.
Ricciardelli's 7th man-up goal on the season. And it ties this game at 7 apiece. Ramsey looking for early offense. Clark, we've gone a little chaotic here in the last few minutes of this game, and I feel like that has turned the game in Notre Dame's favor.
And Virginia getting these penalties. It's one thing when you have the top team in the country at your place and you're up by a goal, but when you go man down against this unit, historically, it could end up being the best extra man unit ever, statistically.
Taylor scores! All the momentum now with the top-ranked Irish. 4 for 9 shooting in this third quarter. Clark, I also feel like maybe Virginia's not getting some calls to go their way, and it's getting them off their game a little bit here in this quarter.
The penalties were paramount in terms of Notre Dame coming back in this game. But then the momentum of these crazy goal scorers. You have Jake Taylor inside. You kick it to the conductor. Pat Cavanaugh understands when you see Taylor without a blanket on top of him, because they don't like giving him space inside, he's going to give it to him. That combination has been lethal, and that point by Pat Cavanaugh makes him the all-time point scorer in Notre Dame lacrosse history. Take a bow, 51.
And it gave the Irish the lead back. Virginia and Cormier, I should say, Connor Schellenberger bounces that one off the pipe, so it'll stay with McKay Millen. Irish have scored 4 in a row here, Clark. They've got the lead back and all the momentum. Now Virginia with this great home crowd here at Klockner looking to get it back.
You just feel like they have to answer, because of the momentum and the goal-scoring prowess of Notre Dame with these guys, the electric ability of Cavanaugh's and Taylor. They're feeling it now.
Schellenberger gets the big little. Or check that, he's got Bergmaster on him now, but he was able to lose light. Now he wants to use a Cormier pick. Now he gets the shorty matchup he wants. That's Harris. Schellenberger tries to go underneath the defense. Irish come out of there with it. Parlett. He's been instrumental in early offense for Notre Dame this afternoon.
Notre Dame is built to play in the middle of the field with Ramsey and Parlett. You know, you lost Brian Tevlin and Quinn McCann from a year ago, but Parlett and Ramsey have stepped up to fill that void.
Dobson trying to get his left hand free, can't do it against Weyer. Face on. Working on the shorty in space. Now to Pat Cavanaugh. Kastner slips the screen, back on Cavanaugh. Here's face on. Working on Chismar. Chris Cavanaugh back to face on. Interference call against Notre Dame.
That's another moving pick. We've seen a bunch of those today.
And we're going to get a call here against the Irish. Delayed call going against Notre Dame. Corey loses it. And it's out of bounds. Now we'll get the call.
There's Will Donovan again. He's having a heck of a game.
I will tell you, the intensity on the sideline of this game right now.
Unnecessary 1 minute. 51 minutes.
This is an unnecessary roughness call going against Chris Cavanaugh. Full
They play on the line.
Right, they always play on the knife's edge. We talk about it all the time.
Pass. It's tough. You can't really tell if the momentum or maybe the ref saw one of those take another one, you know?
Yeah. Couldn't see it on that replay. It's a minute man-up opportunity for Virginia.
You got to live with that, though. Their aggressive nature is their strength, right? But at times it could be a weakness, too.
Right. And Virginia takes advantage with Cormier. So in the waning moments of this third quarter, Virginia's taken all the shots that Notre Dame could muster. And they fight back to get one back to even the score at 8 apiece.
This is huge. The Cavs needed an answer. It just felt like Notre Dame was starting to roll. There's another change of a level. He's got the stick low, then he hits the midpoint of the cage, right? We've seen it hit the dirt. We've seen that midpoint hugging the pipes. I've seen that same release point, Connor, where he stinks it up top. He's so smart in terms of playing with a goalie. Like when he gets that same look again, he will change his location in terms of where the ball goes.
4 goals for Cormier on the day. Gobriel and Lynch. You've seen a couple of stalemates that you just don't see in college lacrosse very much anymore. Weyer comes out of there with it. Loose ball hold against Notre Dame. Terenzi loses it. Light with a nice goose. The Irish with a chance here. Beautiful pickoff that time, though. Man, Chris Cavanaugh, you thought might have gotten a look if he could have gotten that ball. But there's that length, and this time it was 6'5" John Schroeder who was able to snag the ball out of the empty sky and prevent an opportunity for the Irish as the horn sounds.
Buckle up, buddy. Buckle up.
And what a game we got for you. 8-8 is our score as we head into the fourth. Everything on the line for the Wahoos, the #1 team in the country. They're not going to go down quietly.
And then all the talk was the prodigy, the younger brother, Chris, who was going to be the best of the family. And he was the late bloomer. No one bet on Pat Cavanaugh. He had a Notre Dame offer and maybe one other Division I offer, I think he told me. He was going to be on this team, and maybe they would get something out of him. Maybe. Well, they got the best player maybe in school history.
Right. They got a national championship out of him, and they may get another one this year.
And it's the toughness. It's the grit. It's the creativity and style. You see a little bit of everything. Like you see the boy in him in the backyard making plays and throwing the most ridiculous backhand shots and invigorating a crowd in South Bend. There's so many visuals I have when I think of Pat Cavanaugh and his journey. But the fact that he defied the odds, because if you saw pictures of him as a 9th grader, You were like, no way this kid's ever going to be able to do it. He was too small.
I think even as a freshman, we were wondering whether he was going to be too small to take the pounding. Well, he takes the pounding. That might be the biggest thing in terms of the revelation for him and his career at Notre Dame. The memory of championship weekend last year on one leg.
One hamstring, a busted shoulder.
Now with this game all even heading into the fourth. The Stars are going to come to the fore, and he's clearly one of them.
Yep. It's a reminder, bet on yourself. You're the only one that controls that. Pat Cavanaugh did it.
Good look in front. Misses the cage, though, with the shot clock winding down to 3. Cavanaugh is just going to have to dump that in the corner. Doesn't.
Shot clock violation.
Nunes is going to look to move quickly.
This is dangerous with Will Donovan. He slips there. Jaeger's lucky. I think Donovan's had a fabulous game in the middle of the field.
He really has, 81 in blue.
Takeaways, the ground balls.
Talked about this great crowd here. Announced attendance of 6,497, so just under 6,500. Largest crowd they've had here since 2013, Cart.
Wow.
Schellenberger. They want to see some magic from him. Colsey scores, though, and a flag. That was a rip from 13. Going to go against the Irish, and the goal will stand.
We talk about Liam Entenmann and his ability to have that swooping motion, right? Sticks in his right hand, gets to the lower left spot. Not when you have gas like this. Colsey absolutely hammers this bottom corner. Steps, plants, rips. How you doing? And Schellenberger, you see how he gets the defense to drift with him? He drifts, and then he rolls back, understanding that a teammate will follow. And Colsey just shreds that.
Colsey's 16th gives Virginia the lead back. Lynch wins it, keeps his footing. He can shoot, bounces it over the target. Colsey became the 6th different Wahoo to score this afternoon. And it gives Virginia that 1-goal lead back.
This is a good matchup for Virginia, too, because Schroeder is a lefty. He guards right-handed players really well. You saw what he did against Spallina last week, holding him to 0 points. He's on Chris Cavanaugh, who's been quiet.
His brother, Pat, trying to use that pick instead he comes far side. Castor doing a good job. Now we're going to get a flag against Virginia, though. Delayed call.
Jimmy, he's acting!
Cavanaugh shoots it wide.
Jimmy, it's an act!
That's a control on his helmet.
15. Don't talk to me. I'll be in for 30 seconds.
On Mike Prestipino, the interference call. Prestipino will sit for 30 seconds.
Yeah, I think Lars thought there was some theatrics there. Here's the bad news, though. He knows when there's a foul that might be questionable in his mind, he knows what he's staring at.
I know.
He's staring at
75%. 2 for 2 today. It's more than 75%.
an offense that is theatrical, that is incredible, that is productive. And then when you put them on extra man, you put a gallon of gasoline on it.
Getting the clock synced up here in Klockner.
And what makes this unit so good, I was explaining it earlier, and then they scored, was Jake Taylor's presence inside. That he occupies space for outside shooters, but if they play the outside, he's one of the best finishers in the game.
There's Richard Delly now up top to Dobson. That's one of the outside shooters we talk about, 8. Now Cavanaugh. He can fire. I thought he might step down. McLean on the outside of the net. save for Nunes. And gets it to Chismar beautifully. Will Virginia look to attack? Try to feed it to Terenzi in front.
You can't make that pass. No one's catching that pass when their back is to the ball, right? To turn around and swing your body around if you're Joey Terenzi.
Team's at full strength. So Virginia was able to kill off that 32nd man down. Back 6v6. Face on. To Chris Kavanaugh, far side. Dobson. Beautiful pass inside, and he gets it to McLean for the goal. Clark, I had a Notre Dame's game last week against North Carolina with Matty Ward, and Matty Ward said, force Dobson to not only shoot, but pass with his right hand. That's what they did on that play, but he made him pay.
But if you watch him down the stretch in the NCAA tournament a year ago, he made multiple right-handed passes to the backside. So he's a big-time lefty goal scorer. But last year, we saw the evolution of Eric Dobson, 8 and blue, to make passes with his right hand. And Devin McLean, a lot like a player in Jake Taylor or Jeffrey Ricciardelli. You give them the ball on the backside, they make it count. And that's what this Notre Dame offense has. It has pieces. Big outside shooters in a guy like Dobson. Inside finishers with Taylor and McLean. The passing of Pat Kavanaugh, the shooting with the right hand of Chris Kavanaugh. They kind of check all those boxes, and then you throw a shifty water bug like Jordan Faison, who's a Division I wide receiver at Notre Dame. You've got everything.
Boost and kill now behind to Kavanaugh. Stays back to provide a screen. Kavanaugh thought about passing it, keeps it, gets it to Angrick up top. Angrick forced behind by Jaeger. Gregg in a little bit of trouble. Keeps possession though.
How does he
Still
hold
with
on?
possession. Got dumped, but he was able to keep and get it to Kavanaugh. Now inside, Nunes has to come out and make the save, and he does, but unfortunately that involved clobbering Jake Taylor.
Taylor got pushed from the rear. That's going to be a push for 30 seconds.
And that's going to go against Nunes, I believe, Cart. I think Nunes felt like he had no choice. He had to come off his line.
And you saw Taylor was going to go between the legs on that. You know, there are times to do it, too. If you feel pressure by your shoulders.
They picked up the flag, Cart.
Wow. I thought it was a push.
That's what I thought,
so look
too.
at Taylor here inside, 13 in blue, right on front of the crease. I don't know how Riley Gray holds onto this ball. I mean, that's...
Good pass here, too, in front. See, I thought Nunes came out and hit him right in the back. Nothing doing, though. Face on. He scores, though. It's academic. The freshman says, I'll take it from here.
You remember moments ago, I was talking about this complete offense. Jordan Faison, in his emergence, takes an offense that is great to spectacular. It's that little hesitation. It's so subtle, you probably don't even notice it. But right before he straight lines on Jaeger, it's a hesitation. Almost like a wide receiver. You've watched a ton of football. You call football. A wide receiver, sometimes it's just a pause, and then they get into their break. It's the same type of motion and movements. And then it's just speed on speed and good luck.
Big battle here at the face-off X. Lynch has been getting the better of Gabriel lately. Got possession, but This is a scrum. Not for the weak of heart here in the middle of the field at all. Still loose.
Calling a push.
Yep.
Prestipino hit the grass 15 and white.
And that was...
They don't like it. Notre Dame does not like the call.
That was a physical sequence right there. Expect a lot more of that to come here in the second half. Irish have won 4 or 5 faceoffs here in this quarter. But it's Virginia trailing by a goal with possession. Schellenberger inside, trying to get it to Cormier. He lost his footing. White comes out of there with it. And Cormier with a little bit of a hobble after going down. Ramsey.
You know, this shows the depth, too, of Notre Dame. Their ability to run 6 and 7 offensive middies.
Yep. No question. Jalen Seymour. Finley, Fisher-Finley's in there. Fresh legs. Walker with the ball in his cross there. 5. Here's Finley. Kavanaugh lost his footing. Somebody lost his stick. Pat Kavanaugh comes out of there with it, but now it's Weyer. And we'll get a call as Pat Kavanaugh's helmet came flying off.
Well, they had to stop the play with the helmet off.
Right. And that's the only reason for the whistle. Now Pat's going to have to come out until our next stoppage because his helmet came off. That's what Brian Abbott is explaining to the scorer.
Yep.
At 51, who is Pat Kavanaugh, is going to have to remain out until the next whistle. If your helmet comes off, that's the new rule this year.
And it is in the effort of making sure players have tight chin straps. They're wearing the helmets the right way. But look, that's a rule that could affect a series. It could affect a game. Because these two teams, well, there you go. We'll get them back in now.
Now you get that whistle and a big turnover against Virginia.
Yeah, that turnover is bad in its own right because Notre Dame gets the ball, but Pat Kavanaugh comes back in.
Yeah, season high 23rd turnover for Virginia in this game. Under 7 to play. Irish and face on up a goal. Weyer on face on. So they pull face on, which means...
He's used to that.
Yeah. It also means that 8 is going to be operating on a shorty right here. Jaeger's checking Dobson. Dobson crashes into his defender. Loses his stick, gets it back though. McLean had a really good look. Just whistles it wide. 42 to shoot for the Irish, so plenty of time.
You feel this venue right now is kind of walking on eggshells, right?
No doubt.
They're not used to losing 3 in a row. It's been 10 years.
And every moment from here on out is absolutely critical. Kastner staying with Kavanaugh. Got him up high. That's going to be a call against Virginia. Dobson, oh, he'll let loose here. Oh, I thought he was going to shoot it. Instead, it's Kavanaugh. And Nunes makes a save. I thought Dobson was going to let that one rip. Now we'll get the call from Brian Abbott. This is going to be a minute penalty against Virginia.
Number 39, Virginia, slashing 1 minute, 3 seconds.
Kastner will sit for a minute. Just got his stick up too high and caught Kavanaugh on his face mask. Right there.
That's the right call.
Yeah, you can't not call it.
Yeah.
Yeah, got him. So this lethal man-up unit once again
They've been bad today, 2 for 4.
Right, pathetic.
Let's go, boys.
Pat to Chris. Inside Taylor. Wheels, loses his footing, ball on the ground. Irish keep it.
Get in.
Still plenty of time on the penalty. Taylor picks up his cross, back in action. Ware, he did not just headbutt the ball to himself. 44 with an amazing ground ball. Now he wants to kill off this penalty and keep possession. Irish get it back. McLean, 10 seconds on the man up.
These turnovers, season high for Virginia. Costly. They just haven't been clean. One of the best clearing teams in the country. Second nationally. Today,
especially here in the second half
yeah,
today,
some
too.
blown opportunities.
But they were able to at least kill off a minute penalty, which was huge at this point.
But you gave Notre Dame a fresh 80.
You did. And the defense has now been on the field for quite some time for Virginia. See if McLean and company can put him on skates. Busenkill now in for the Irish. He's operating on Shizmar. Behind to Pat Cavanaugh. Schroeder is on Cavanaugh. Gray, bouncer.
Pat's going to want the ball here. If you're going against 49 Schroeder, I would drive lefty here. If you drive righty on him, he plays righty so well. And make him go cross forearm.
5 to shoot. Busenkill in front, scores with McLean. Second great feed on the day from 23 in blue.
He's having a day. Busenkill as a passer, McLean with the hat trick. You talk about timing with 1 second left on the shot clock. Milk it, and you make the home team pay. The Irish up 2. And Schellenberger and Pat Cavanaugh, he can make a case too, but I think the Outlaws with the first pick. You drafted Logan Wisnauskas #1 2 years ago. He's a above-the-goal lefty shooter. That's kind of what O'Neal is. I think they need a quarterback, so I wouldn't be shocked if they take Connor Schellenberger with 1.
Okay, we shall see. A week from Tuesday. Clock ticking down to 3 minutes. Irish up 2. They've outshot Virginia 20-6 here in the second half. Face-off. Up top to Dobson. Every inch of real estate is difficult. Cav gets it to McLean. Back up top to Dobson. Irish being awfully deliberate, as you might expect, up 2 here in the final moments of this game. Cavanaugh, bouncer, inside. Nunes makes the save, and then makes another one, but McLean was in the crease anyway.
Notre Dame wanted to push. It's now or never, Cotter.
10 saves for Nunes. Virginia can't have a turnover in the middle of the field like that.
Wow. And guess what? Fresh 80. A basic transfer. That is what killed them today. Like when you turn on the tape and you dissect this game, Lars Tiffany is going to be so upset
25 turnovers. And
how they did things that they rarely do. They're so clean in the clear game. Today they were a disaster.
Still 45 seconds on this shot clock. The Irish can take it under a minute. And obviously, this is a situation for the Wahoos where they cannot give up a goal. Yeager is able to get it. Schellenberger. Millen. He loses it. Still can't track it down. Now we get a whistle.
I think Lars called a timeout.
Oh, they gave him the timeout.
And that is
so fortunate for Virginia. Now at a minute 14, you got to play desperately.
Basic transfers, not even pressure spots. Those last 2 turnovers, not even pressure spots.
This is where you got to play with a sense of desperation, and they are. Faison's in all kinds of trouble here. Ball's going to go out of bounds, and it's going to be Virginia's ball. Notre Dame quick to call timeout with the dead ball. 59 seconds left to play. Virginia with possession, down 2.
They're going to bring a short stick in this pick game, and he's going to get the matchup he wants.
Schellenberger looking to get it to Millen. Got it to him in the corner. Millen coming upfield. Shuts. Loses it, Donovan. Continues what has been a fantastic game for Will Donovan.
I'm going to be honest with you, Cotter. I don't know why the ball didn't stay in Schellenberger's stick. He's the all-time leading point scorer. I think the best player in school history. Let the ball end in his stick. If it's going to be a turnover, let it happen with him.
Final 18 seconds. The Irish were able to run some clock off before turning it over in the middle of the field, but with just 18 seconds remaining, Coach Corrigan wants to call his final timeout.
I would think the only way that Virginia becomes a bubble team, and now they're going to lose 3 straight, is if something crazy happens in the Ivy.
Right.
Maybe with a Penn winning the Ivy.
Right. So then they could make an argument for 3 teams with Cornell and Yale. Entenmann makes that final save. Then the horn sounds. The Irish, #1 coming in, will remain that way going out.
Defending national champs go 4-0 in conference play. Win the regular season in the ACC. Kevin Corrigan chased the national championship for 3 decades and got one a year ago. He's the favorite right now.
And they're the gold standard. They've won 30 of their last 33 games, Kark. The ACC championship bracket is set.